Hi, this is DJ Tina, host of HMTV Canada eZine. On the phone with me today is Armin from Bio 7.
Hi.
Hi, Armin. How are things?
Things are good. Perfect timing to call. We're experiencing a crazy thunderstorm right here, so if something is going to be very authentic, very metal, okay?
Looks like it's going to happen here soon as well in Ontario.
Yeah?
Yes.
Florida is near Canada. Okay, I get it. Okay.
What can fans expect when the re-release of Bio 7, the 7th string full album, comes available?
Well, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some things to it and taking a few things off of there. So it's going to be more heavy. It's going to be more, well, people want to call it heavy metal. I don't know how true that is, but all right, go ahead, call it. It's going to be more of that. There's going to be more heavy sounds, more peace. Can I put it that way?
Okay.
So, more tunes. That's it.
One of the tracks I dig is To Sammy. I guess it's because it reminds me of a song from a horror movie compilation soundtrack. Will this song be included in your re-release?
Well, I'm not quite sure if we're going to do that one. Tsunami was originally written. There was the disaster that was happening a few years back, and that was written for that purpose, to raise money to support all the efforts. There was all these hundreds of thousands of orphan children being sold and all kinds of crazy things going on in that part of the world. So this was on the radio to raise some money. So I'm not sure if we're going to stick to this format or we'll maybe do something. We will definitely do something with the song. I don't think it's going to make it to the next release, though. But, you know, there'll be something there. as a real scary kind of scary piece. Because we were trying to portray the awful feeling of what it is, how helpless you are when you realize that tsunami is coming your way and there's nothing you can do about it. So, but that's that.
Who is the mystery singer that has the melodic, beautiful vocals in your feature song Susemi, and will we hear more of her vocals on future tracks?
Well, that's Dace Kamali. She's handling everything that has to do with Bio 7 business-wise, and maybe, possibly, we'll see how things are, but right now she just started a new merchandise and clothing line that she's really busy with, plus all the stuff that we require and need, you know. So there's going to be a really awesome merch line for musicians with all kinds of cool clothing and stuff like that. So she's incredibly busy with this right now. We'll see what happens. No, I just said never say never. All kinds of surprises are possible, you know.
How will the re-release of the 7th string full-length album differ from your previous release in 2007?
Well, we're just going to, like I said, we're adding more pieces to it, but the sound has changed a little bit in our playing. We started out, it was basically my idea of, you know, playing something on a 7-string violin that would be rock stuff, and the more we played concerts, the more we realized that how cool it worked in this really heavy rock setting. So tunes have gotten harsher, and as I mentioned before, more teeth, more bite.
Can you tell us a little about Bio 7, when the band members were formed, and their current roles in the band?
Yeah, sure. So basically, like I said before, I started with this Bio 7 idea. The Bio 7 is what? It's a violin with 7 strings. The whole band concept is based around that, where we would put the 7-string electric rock violin in front of the group as the lead instrument and eliminate guitar from that setup. So basically we more or less have a power trio of drums, bass, and the violin. And violin handles all the rhythm and lead playing that guitar normally does. We have a couple keyboard tracks here and there. So, as far as the musicians, I needed to find really high caliber musicians that we could pull this power trio type thing off, because there's no place to hide, there's no fillers, if I could put it that way. You know, you need to have a really good drummer and bass player who would support what we do as a group. So Billy Dean on the drums, probably one of the best up and coming drummers in the U.S. right now. lives right here in Florida, originally from Chicago area, and his drum solos usually just take the house down. It's crazy. I have drummers coming up to me and asking, how is that possible? I mean, he plays with one kick pedal more than most people do with double. I hear this all the time, so I'm just telling it to you. So he's a fantastic player. Just came back from trip to England where he did all kinds of musical and things like that. And then Scott Queen, bass player, also just great musician. I would give him, for instance, piano scores and say, listen, I'd love to do this piece, but we need to make some kind of a rock part out of what these chord changes are. Can you do anything with it? And I would think, he might work up something. Imagine this next rehearsal, he comes in, he has figured out and learned how to play the whole piano part on the bass with all, the tapping and all 8 fingers on the neck and just crazy stuff like that. And he can pull these kind of things off. So between those two, I'll call them monster players right now. Quite a concept which you see live. It's a big musical theater, if I could put it that way, musically speaking. Yeah. And keyboards, every now and then we have, we just gig where we just play 3 of us and that's it. But when we do involve keyboard player, they keep changing. We've had Petar Kacenovich play with us, who is a very interesting guy. He plays heavy rock cello. How's that? He's got it painted black with racing stripes on, and he's working on a Metallica tribute thing right now. And he's a wonderful keyboard player, orchestra arranger, and just overall great musician. We've had him. We've had Jason Bokelheid, who is a fantastic jazz player, Berkeley graduate. So, they're not part of our core setup. The core is the 3. Billy on drums, Scott on bass, and me on the violin. But, we do need some keys here and there for some ballad stuff that ladies like.
Okay. Arman, are you the mastermind for all the production and sound of Bio 7?
Well, yeah. I guess you could call me mastermind. Basically, I would have the idea, and we would get together with the musicians. And in the rehearsals, those ideas would usually turn into something. Well, what if we try this, and what if you try that? And then people come together with their own ideas. So at the end of the day, yeah, I might have written the melody and the chord changes and some initial basic things, but there's so much added by the others that it's a group effort, in the real sense of the word.
Did you invent your own 7-string electric rock violin model? The design is brilliant.
Yeah, to a point, yes, and to a point, no. There's 7-string violins out there. They've been there before, but what I needed an instrument that I can pull all these crazy things off, and I needed my own model to do those kind of things. Why? Well, I need more options. I'm not going to go here in technical details why, but there's so many things that I've implemented in my instruments that are not out there that were crucial for my performances, what I can do with this instrument. So, have I invented 7-string violin? No. Is this my own model with my own everything from ground up? Yes. Well, how's that for an answer?
That's good. I like how the violin is shaped into a butterfly effect. Reminds me of being able to transform into many kinds of musical blends and sounds.
Well, yeah, it sure doesn't look like a violin. It looks like more like a flying V guitar type situation there, what I hear from people. We do use it in different forms. For instance, I always played classical music myself, and even with the Viol 7 guys, every now and then we have some high-end invitations which require other styles performed than heavy rock music. So we've done some nice jazz settings, which, by the way, is pure pleasure to play with our bass player and drummer. Both of them, just unbelievable what they can do with classical or jazz. And it just shows you the level of musicianship right there. It's not just one style only. But, yeah, so it's very rockish.
Okay. Who are your major influences for music in metal, jazz, blues, and rock?
Well, I started as a classical violin player when I was a little 5-year-old kid, and that went from there on. I remember first time seeing and hearing the music of Whitesnake, Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and it just totally blew me away, so to say. I since there, right away I wanted to quit the violin and start playing guitar. But mostly it's the guitar players that I look up to, and I can't say I copy anybody because you can't copy guitar playing on a violin. It's a totally different animal. But I get inspired by hearing a nice album done by a really high-end musician like same Steve Vai or Joe Satriani. So there you go.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your music background?
Well, musical background. I started when I was 5, started to play violin when I was 6, started to play keyboards and pianos when I was 7. It was all in Latvia, in former USSR, so they used the Russian method of teaching kids, and I was one of those. So, they were really demanding about the studies and all that stuff. So I remember when I was 12, that was our first tour. We actually went on tour. We went to Germany, and I remember it because somebody gave me a birthday card, apparently on the road, that was my birthday. So I've got this thing at home, so there's the proof. And from there on, it was just always, gosh, when I was in 6th grade, I remember everybody was playing Paganini's music. That was normal. It wasn't anything big deal that was required. So it's classical music, and later on, of course, you start to dip into little popsier things and start to hear things on the radio and see stuff on TV and get influenced by other people. And yeah, you start to do something a little bit jazzier and here and there. The rock idea starts to creep in around what you're like 14 or 15. So my background is all classical. I'm classically trained musician. You want to call me a violinist? You want to call me, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, that's what I live and breathe. Many years. How's that?
Okay. When did you tour internationally with known artists such as Luciano Pavarotti, Barry Manilow, Ray Price, Debbie Gibson, Richard Marx, and NSYNC?
Well, that's been done over the years. Every now and then something comes up, and you just, if the time allows and the finances are there or whatever the case it might be, then yeah, you do it. You just jump on the road and do it. That's all, gosh, in the last 10 years or so. Every now and then you do a little stint. But right now I'm focusing on my own, where we could start doing our own thing. And speaking of touring, we're going to be setting up a tour right now. Our next goal is to go from Florida up East Coast up to, I don't know, New York even, who knows, eventually to Canada too, right? And do things that way. But we're just starting right now with our Florida leg, and we're going to be doing some shows with some pretty well-known artists. So when it's all said and done, it's all going to be posted on the website, and you can check it out. Come out and see this crazy theater live.
Do you have any video production planned for the 7th string?
Yeah, we'll have to do something. We've got tons of ideas. And again, there are many things in the works, but release dates are not confirmed yet. So when something is done, it will be out there, but I can't say any specific times yet. But of course, yeah, that has to be done.
Where was your acoustic Led Zeppelin melody performed and videotaped live?
Okay, that was actually our group's first concert, which was quite an unbelievable event. It was performed in this brand new concert hall called General Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's a very, very beautiful acoustic, how can I say, music to play, for instance, classical music, and it's a fantastic acoustics in there. And NASCAR crew that does all the 500 races, Daytona 500, they actually came in and do this.
Wow.
That's why the camera angles are so cute. And yeah, that was the first time we played it as a group, and we had all kinds of guest musicians in there. There was, we had a string quartet in front of the rock band, and we started with classical music that was all amplified. We played like Handel and Vivaldi and stuff like that, and then gradually went through the jazz, and then through the rock, and finished up with some original metal. Well, the cute thing was that the audiences consisted of many generations. Like the first row was bought by a gentleman who's 97 years old.
Wow.
And I was like, I knew who he was, and I went up to him and said, listen, are you crazy? I mean, do you realize how loud this is going to be? His answer was, I don't care, I can't hear that well anyway. Which I thought was cool. And guess what? He brought his kids and his grandkids. So right there was 3 generations sitting, and each of them enjoyed something. There was classical for the older folks, and there was the medium Led Zeppelin, Queen type arrangements for the 30, 40 years olds, and loud rock stuff, Ozzy, Scorpions, even for the little ones, not that little, but and then the original stuff, all the original things that we do. So all generations were, you see the people coming out of the concert hall. Not too often you see moms and kids, and dads going hand in hand out, and all generations are happy. It's either or.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really
cool. It was a cute concept.
When I first heard your music, I was spellbound, and I stayed on your MySpace stage to listen to the rest of your tracks. I'm curious, how is the media reacting to your new 7-string electric rock violin as a lead instrument instead of a guitar?
Well, it's usually the curiosity approach, because try tomorrow, go up to somebody on the street and say, hey, have you ever heard heavy metal violin? And they think you're on something, It's weird, right? So, but then people realize that it's not a bluff, that really is what it is. And the first thing is the surprise effect. Even in concerts, people would come in and, violinist, let's go listen to him. We know what violin is, and you come in and there's all these ripping leads and power chords all over the place, and I can see it in their faces, like, okay, now, obviously this guy's playing something. Where is the guitar player? And then somewhere in the middle of the piece, you can see the realization on their face that there is none, and he's not coming. So it's quite an interesting concept, because people, they're surprised. What is this? How is that possible? How do you do this? So it works.
It's funny how the reactions come out of people.
Oh yeah, you never know what to expect.
Yeah.
And especially like I'm out there somewhere in some restaurant, and there's all this, hair and whatever, and people usually come, oh, what do you do? I play violin. Oh yeah, I like violin. I'm thinking, no, you have no idea what you just said, because this is not the violin that you're thinking of. So and then they write to me on the website. Wow, I can't believe this. I thought it's a different kind of violin. Well, I told you.
Can you tell us about High Velocity Strings Music Education Program?
Yeah, that all started with what? Well, we always wanted to do something that involves kids and younger generation. Why? Well, because that's the future in music in general. So we had this idea of, well, all right, let's say if somebody would we are all teachers. I teach violins and pianos. Scott teaches bass and guitars, and Billy's fantastic drum line and drum set, and everything that has to do with hitting things with stick teacher. For instance, his group is every now and then in the Rose Parade in January 1st in California. So high level stuff. And we were just thinking, all right, let's bring some of those kids to the concert. Let's make a requirement that if people come in and pay their, $20 a ticket or what have you, that, it needs to be quality. So whoever has learned their part on a concert professional level, they'll get to play with us. So that's how we started to do all this high velocity strings, and we got nonprofit status granted to us. So we can do things with kids. We can involve them, and our shows are usually clean. There's no any kind of a cussing or whatever going on from the stage. So it's just a good concept, family oriented, if I could put it that way. But we do play heavy rock, so we bring kids to those, and we feature them as featured soloists. That's where the program's going. Right now, we're putting together a situation where we're thinking, okay, now what if we coach up some youngsters and coach up their group, or put one together, and then have them open for us when we have local concerts in the local areas where we're here, while we're here in town. Give them some exposure, give them some studio time, give them things like that. I always was dreaming I could have something like that when I was a kid. But, who can afford to go in a studio? But since we have one, why not?
Is this education accessible internationally online through the internet?
At some point it probably could be something, but you know what? It's just 24 hours a day, and if I need to do everything, there's just no time. So, not at the moment. Right now it's only for the privileged Daytona, Central Florida, Orlando, Jacksonville people who happen to be around here. But eventually I see that there's going to be a need for all these materials to go online, and if we could build a team where it could run without me having to do everything in it, yeah, probably. But it's just a matter of time. So I do have written a method of teaching this violin and this whole rock concept. So yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay. What's your philosophy about music that can help aspiring young musicians getting started in the music business?
Okay. Well, what I think is important is for anybody is, I guess, very important thing is being able to dream, being able to imagine, and that all comes down to goal setting. And for goal setting to work, you need to have an inspiration. It needs to be, the spark needs to come from somewhere, and then the fire can burn. So if somebody, and we can all do this in our lives, and it doesn't have to be music. Let's say you want to be, I don't know, a great diamond carver or whatever, How about you find somebody in this particular field that you say, I would love to do what this person does. And go and find yourself a mentor who could actually show you what they do, not from a book, not from a school class, but actual master who does it. And, I don't know, become apprentice or something, yeah? But basically that you could learn from somebody who does it versus from a theory that somebody else has written, and who knows if that's even true. I mean, I can tell you all I know about e-zines, but guess what? If I'm not the guy who does it, I don't have the credibility to tell you anything. So I could tell you about my violins, but no e-zines, even though I could tell you I'm real good at them, but I don't have the thing to support it. So it goes back to the music. Is find your passion, find your goal, find your reason. Why would you want to do it? Mm-hmm. And what's the saying? If your reason why is strong enough, the how will, appear. If the student's ready, the teacher will appear, right? So, and just thrive on the passion. Thrive on what drives you. And that goes down to a musical style. Let's say I was always taught classical. Well, I loved the rock stuff, so there was always a conflict there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't pretty growing up because nobody supported this idea. I was always the outcast, always why do you want to do this? Well, because I like it, that's why. And if it's good, it doesn't do any harm, so to say, and it does good things, promotes good stuff, well, why not?
Before we wrap up our interview, can you tell us your main web address so fans can access your music and buy CDs and Vio 7 merchandise online through the internet?
Yeah, well, as far as the nowadays, seems like the most popular thing has become this MySpace situation. So, all right, for those who want to just listen and watch DVDs, videos, and communicate with us, go to myspace.com/ArmandVio7. So it's ARMANDVIO numeral 7. And the main website where you could, look for the CDs and merch and stuff like that is www.vio7.com. So vio7.com. 7 is a numeral. That's where we're at.
Do you sell merchandise and CDs at your live shows?
Oh yeah. In fact, we sign them and we do all kinds of things like that. We usually have something cute worked out for the audience when they come in. There's little perks and little freebies from local businesses, and like for instance the last time we had a show, internationally well-known heavy rock singer Rob Rock showed up in there, and there was a raffle and they could win a shirt signed by Rob Rock and all the musicians participating, and CDs signed by him and us, and there was another group playing. So just they walked away with something that was one of a kind. We usually try to come up with something like that, so it's not just a concept, not just come see how cool I am. So they walk away with some piece of, that was great. Let's see how could that, help in their own lives also, not just the concert, the same music education idea.
Awesome.
Okay. So, and pretty much in all our shows, unless we play with some crazy somebody who does something weird that's not set up by us, they're all ages shows. So everybody's welcome, no matter how old or young you are.
Do you have any last words?
Last words? No, I think I pretty much kind of said better words for what we were talking about. I just come out, support us, and we'll try to do the same for you and your friends. Okay?
Thank you, Armand, for allowing our e-sign to interview Vio 7. You rock.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.